is starting up. Yes! Let's go! With more draws today! Whoop. See who shows up. Until then, we'll do some lines. We're working more on this comic. And then I get it done, but it's a whole 10 pages and we're not at the coloring yet. Hopefully we'll be at the coloring soon. I'm going to try and finish all the line work today, since that's what we got left. All the roughs are done. And then we can probably start on the fun part of doing fills so that I can actually do the color. Yes, welcome back. Been here before. If you've been here before, welcome. I draw on stream a bunch. Now is my favorite time, which is getting clean lines. It's very easy and brain freeing for me. It's like, yep, here I go. I hope you are having a good Sunday. Good weekend in general. I put the crickets away because they're being very noisy. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. Chores day. What a fun time. I gotta do one of those, and I'm not sure when I should do my next chores day. Try and squeeze it in between everything else I gotta do. Work keeps me pretty busy. Thanks for stopping by. You know, the chores I gotta get done. Because nobody can do them but you. Or family or me. I don't know. Somebody has to do them. I usually just get a pair of wireless headphones and put on a giant playlist I have of video essays I like, and then just listen to those while I'm doing any cooking, cleaning, stuff like that. And it helps distract my brain. Fixing stuff is tough too. I gotta probably do some more of that. There's like certain cleaning things I'm like, oh, I should get to that at some point. And I never get to it at some point. I always make it too busy, like washing my windows. I have heard of a movie called Over the Hedge. Well, the movie is like okay, but I remember more about Over the Hedge was the comic strip for it, because they used to appear. The comic strip for it used to appear in probably LA Times. That's probably where I saw it. And I like the comic strip more than the movie. It was kind of vaguely Bill Watterson-ish. Not as good, obviously, but it was decent. But yeah, I'm aware of the movie. I saw the movie. It was comic strip's better. I know it's like I think it's on the DreamWorks roster, right? Pretty sure it is. It's been forever since I think I even only saw like parts of it, not the whole thing. Oh, that's really funny. Timing! Found a plush for it while having it on. Who was the plush of? Like, which character? Yeah. I imagine it's the raccoon, I forget his name. Vern? Okay. Oh, no, that's the turtle. That's the turtle. I didn't remember that much. Man, I didn't know they made that many plushes. It's an interesting plush. I don't know how cuddly he is as a character, but, you know, it's for kids, so. They'll definitely cuddle anything. In terms of stuffed animals. That's so funny. It's like, how did this get here? It is really funny when, like, you know, you kind of hear about something for the first time or whatever, or rehear about it for the first time, and then, like, something in your life reinforces that. And you're like, wait a second. Now I was given the context right before I needed it. Amazing. How did that happen? It's always funny when life does that. Wisp. I've never gotten a plush from Over the Hedge. What year did that come out? Something I'm trying to remember. Feels like it was a while ago. So again, I remember seeing the comic strip for it. Must have been from my parents' place because I don't get the paper. They do. 2006? Okay. Good grief, that's almost 20 years ago. This is like, a big deer coming for me. Yeah, it's definitely a movie of its time. Again, I'm probably just biased because I think the comic strip is better, but also, obviously, the comic strip gives you more time with the characters and kind of makes it more likable, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure if the strip is still running or not. It's so hard to see comic strip stuff these days because it's newspaper. Maybe they were trying to do that because Bill Watterson will not let anybody have the rights to Calvin and Hobbes for an animated feature. Which, probably smart. Sucks a little bit, because I think it'd be pretty cool animated if he had the right people behind it, but I guess he just did not trust. And that's understandable, all things considered. Then we'll have, like, dual voice actors and have a specific voice for Calvin and Hobbes. How does that all work? Plus, I feel like you would have to be traditionally animated. And not many people want to do that anymore. Perspective feels a little wonky here, but whatever. Yeah, I think I saw like parts of it once. Man, once I kind of like partially interviewed to work on that Sony movie Open Season. I think it was their first feature animated movie. Probably it was something like Interns, you know, something really not glamorous at all. Did not get that though, so that didn't happen. That's okay. Got other things instead. First, I'll stop in the name of love. I don't think if I have any obscure plushes from movies long past. I do have a puppy cat plush from the original Being Puppy Cat, not the puppy cat that's on Netflix nowadays, but like the original short when it first came out, which was a while ago, I think. It's very cute. I also have a Minchi plush from Excel Saga, which is a very weird anime from early 2000s. I'm not sure what else. Probably a bunch of stuff I'm forgetting. I have a tiny white wolf plush from which I think came with the DVD box set for Wolf's Reign, which is another anime that came out a while ago. I didn't finish it though, because I don't think I liked the ending. But I have a little plush still, of like one of the wolf characters. She large. She very large. Okay, I'll stop the name of love. dumb antlers. Why did I design them this way? They're nutty. You're stupid. But still we drew them that way for reasons I cannot comprehend. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry if you can just pop on for a little bit. I'm happy to see anybody. Just talking plushes from weird movies and shows from long ago. I'm trying to remember which ones I have. Part of me is like tempted to commission a plush of Eldritch Susie. I want like a really big one I can hug. It would be so expensive though. Get all kinds of motifs in it. And it would be cool. But yeah, it'd be super expensive to get a custom plush that big. So I'm like, oh maybe. I'm lucky. Okay. Got those ones done. I'll make sure it's hydrated. Oh, I don't think I have the skill to make my own plush. I don't even have a sewing machine. Especially for like, it's one thing to like, you know, follow a pattern somebody else has done, but like making your own pattern and all that kind of stuff, entirely different. I feel like if I did that, it would just come out looking awful. And I would be sad. In fact, I'm not even sure what kind of fabric is good to use. Like, how would you do the big mouth? I don't know. Yeah. Patchwork Eldritch Susie variant. I want like a big one. I want a big huggable one. So I don't have a sewing machine, so I'd have to get that, so that would be also expensive. Those are like hundreds of dollars as it is. And sewing machines scare me. Not fond of them. Like the one times I did use one was in like home ec class in high school ages ago. And I always felt very nervous using them because they'd be like little chattery sewing noises, and I was afraid to put my fingers near them. Which I know is silly, but that's just how I felt. I know it's silly. I know. And they kind of play into like, I have this, I don't know if I call it a fear, but just a general like unease, uncomfortableness with like really big machines, really, you know, heavy, loud industrial machines. Like I never like I always get kind of freaked out, squicked out by like, you know, parts of a movie where a character is, you know, goes through or gets stuck inside a really big machine. It's all scary, like that part in Chicken Run. I'm like, oh, Chicken Run's a great movie, but the part where they're in the big pie machine is scary. And that part from Wallace and Gromit. Both of those movies, those Aardman movies, have big machine things. Yeah, that part from Wallace and Gromit where there's the big knitting and then other machines that are scary. Oh, hello, thank you for coming. We're happy to see new people here. No, why would I be afraid of toilets? That's not a big machine, that's a very simple, easy machine. Oh, no, I'm not afraid of toilets. Toilets are fine. Like really big things that kind of operate on their own, and you know, like production line style machines that, you know, are supposed to do a very specific thing, and they're big enough for a person to like get caught in them in some way. I hate that. Those scare me in fiction and in real life. I hate stories of, you know, poor blue collar workers or whatever getting messed up by whatever machine they're using. It just really freaks me out. I don't like it at all. It's one of those things. Some people are like, those are cool, and I'm like, those are not cool to me. I'm sorry. I don't like them. Like even that one part when I was playing the Stanley Parable Deluxe Edition. You'll be in a world of OSHA violations. Yeah. Like that one part of Stanley Parable, the new parts where they're like, oh, Stanley, you have to put the bucket into the bucket destroyer machine. Like, it was funny, but I'm like, I don't like the bucket destroyer. It's scary. It's so noisy and big. Ah! Why would I put the bucket destroyer into a horrible place like that? Yeah, Portal 1 style. And even like in Portal 1, like, you know, like a big robot, that's different from like, I don't know. There's got to be a word for that kind of like assembly line style machine. Like another part that always, you know, made me tense up was that part in like one of the Star Wars. It's like, I think it's probably Mustard. Like the third prequel one, right? I think Revenge of the Sith, where they're like fighting. They're lightsaber fighting in like this big factory that's like, you know, assembling droids or something, and they're dodging all this assembly line stuff, and that always made me feel really tense. I didn't like it. Yeah, is there a term for that kind of stuff? Just assembly line machine? Like, it's not the same thing as a robot, not the same thing as, you know, that kind of stuff. It's stuff specifically that's like, you know, not really sentient. Just something fairly ordinary but big and intimidating, loud. Maybe that's why I don't like sewing machines as much, is because so, you know, it's a small thing, it's not a big machine, but it kind of taps into a get some water. It taps into that machine that is going on its own and, you know, making a loud noise kind of thing. Which I know is silly. But, I don't know. Trying to make sure she's looking at Chris. Like, even in Portal 1, like, when it's the whole, like, oh, you're being sent to be incinerated kind of thing, it's like, that's basically a platform and, you know, a fire. It's not even quite the same as other stuff. I guess that's close. Because, yeah, it's not any type of machine. I mean, I'm using a machine right now. I'm using a computer. And simple machines, not a problem. It's literally, like, really big, complex assembly line style things that like are supposed to build a car, or like this complex process that puts together, you know, a single product sort of thing, and is very automated, and is big enough for a human to get stuck in. Those are the ones that make me uncomfortable. So I don't know what the specific term for that would be. Like, I'm okay drawing a mech. Like if you ask me to draw a transformer or something like that, I would do it. It's not my strong suit, so I would probably struggle with it. I really need to, you know, if I'm drawing a machine character, like a robot or a transformer or something like that, I can do it, but I'm not very strong at it. I've got to work more at it. Honestly, what I find harder than drawing like robots or mechs is cars, because like with a mech you can kind of get away with fudging it a bit, because it's not a real machine. It's just like, you know, a character in the shape of one, so you can kind of fudge things a bit. But like, people know what a car looks like, or a boat looks like. They know what specific cars and specific boats and planes and all that look like. They have very like almost streamlined designs, and if they look off, it's like the same way like when you draw hands and they look off, because everybody knows what a hand looks like. So with cars, often what I do, I just trace them. I just find a car, I try and find a car in the approximate size and approximate like shape I want, and the angle I want, I trace it. Because it's just so much easier than trying to like do that from scratch. Because again, cars are just very particular shapes, and people notice when they're off. Because we see cars all the time. So yeah, cars are actually harder for me than mechs. Trucks. So like robots, mechs, kind of stuff like fantasy machines. Those are okay because again, you can kind of fudge them. They're not real. Actually, I think I need to maybe stem this down a little bit. It's better that way. I know. There are people who are really into cars, and they're like, how can you do this wrong? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not into cars. My special interest is not that. So people who like know cars, or like, you know, trucks or boats or guns or planes really well, I'm like, you know, good on them. That's very technical stuff to do. It's not easy. But it's one of my struggle spots. No. How about Andrew Tate goes to jail? Also, I don't think he can draw. And even if he does, I don't care. Bleh. Yeah. No, I've known say bad name, do not invoke here. I have known some cool people who are like, you know, super into cars and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's neat. I don't understand it, but I'm glad you enjoy it. It's not my area of focus. Yeah, not the jail part. So, vehicles in general are a struggle. Fantasy machines are easier because again, you can just kind of make up what you're doing. Especially if you have like a really, you know, complex fantasy machine. Like, it doesn't really matter where you put anything. You just kind of slap a bunch of, you know, stuff that kind of goes together and you can get the impression of something complex. Yeah, tater tots are good. We don't want to do that to tater tots. Well, I haven't had those in forever. Yeah, too high. Great thing about potatoes is they're good for any kind of meal. You can have them for breakfast, you can have them for lunch, you can have them for dinner. Potatoes. Tater tot nachos, eh. That's me not liking cheese again. Like, I don't really want a bunch of cheese on nachos. Which I know is the point. You're supposed to put the cheese on them, otherwise they're not nachos. But I prefer salsa. Which I'm sad because my grocery delivery came. And they're like, oh, by the way, we didn't have the salsa. Sorry. And I'm like, oh, the salsa, no. Now I have no salsa this week. And the half-closed eyelids for Noelle is kind of weird. Just a bit. Shouldn't be that shocking. I know I'm not the only white person out there that cheese does not work on. It's the opposite of my little brother who, when we were growing up, he would always like to eat a lot of string cheese. I just couldn't stand it. Texture thing. I was like, oh, I hate the look of the string cheese. I don't like the look of it. It looks bad. Never know. Again, it's not all cheese. I like cheese pizza. That's the main place I like it. Is on. I don't like how that looks there. Like, I like cheese pizza, so that's fine. And I'll have a mac and cheese. I'll have some mac and cheese. That's fine. So I'll have it on some pasta sometimes. I just don't like, you know, quesadillas or cheese by itself usually. Susie is offering advice or making a joke or both. I'm trying to think of any other places I like cheese besides like occasionally pizza and pasta. What do you think on crumbly cheeses? Like feta? Nah, no, I don't like that on salad or anything like that. Not big on that. Like, I'll eat cheese, like, you know, on like a Caesar salad or something, but it's not my favorite. And if I get a big chunk of it, I'll, you know, kind of like eat around it. Not be like, no, I won't eat if there's cheese on it, but I was kind of be like, okay, that's my least favorite part of the salad. Trying to visit any of the places I'll eat it. Chris is like, you're big. Cheddar on apple pie? No. Don't like that on apple pie. Ice cream on apple pie is good. That's what you do. I don't want cheese on my pie. Yeah, I'm not sure why you would put cheese on an apple pie when you have ice cream right there. Hopefully. Whipped cream, any of those are good. I'm just tear into my cheese disliking ways. Not even hating, just disliking. Midwestern people eat cheese, cheddar on pie? Okay, huh. I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. I'm just like, I would not do that. I would not put cheese on my pie. I would put ice cream on my pie. even in like a lot of pies I'm not super big on, like I like really sweet ones, like dessert stuff, like, you know, apple and lemon is good. Chocolate silk. I love key lime. That's a great one. Lemon meringue, also good. Not really big on like savory ones. Well, your antlers, they're cheesy too. Cheesy breezies. I like, you know, cheese crackers. Like, we used to have Cheez-Its all the time when I was growing up. I have not had boysenberry, so I don't know if I like that or not. I'm not big on boysenberries in general, so I might not like it, but I think I'll try boysenberry pie if I have to sometime. But I definitely would prefer key lime. Well, I'm not sure about pecan. Like, I like pecans by themselves, but I don't know if I'd like them in a pie or not. Oh, gotta stop for my break soon. That's a long time to drive for a pie. Very agreeable pie eater. What's an unagreeable pie eater? I will say I prefer like cake to pie, which I'm sure some people will find blasphemous. But if I had to choose between cake and a pie, I'd probably choose cake. Oh, here we go. It's time for my stretch. Hint with Susie doing scritches. Okay, let's stretch. I'll keep my wrist in shape. Change the settings on this too. I'm sorry. I think cake's better than pie. Not that pie is bad. It's just if you pick both of them, if you give me a choice of both, I'll probably pick the cake. Again, there's plenty of pies I like. Not all of them, but plenty. Okay, if you're going to rank desserts, what order would you put in? Cake, pie, brownies, cookies, and ice cream. Some of those are probably circumstantial, I feel like. Can't put them in order? Can't order which ones you would like most to least? Least to most? Everybody's got to give their opinions on desserts. Those are the most important of opinions. Alright. Pies at the top, then cookies. Cake at the bottom. I don't know about that. I mean, if you're eating, like, you know... Yeah, but chocolate can be applied to a bunch of things. Like, you can have chocolate pie, or chocolate cookies, or chocolate cake. Like, chocolate is kind of more of a flavor than a dessert by itself. Also, like, if you're having, like, you know, sheet cake from the grocery store, yeah, that's going to be not a good cake. Well, my favorite flavor is lemon for cake. And that's what I made for myself. And I'll be right back for a stretch. I return. I mean, I like chocolate pies, okay, but I don't think chocolate pie is as good as like the other kind of pies I like. Like, I would say if I had a choice between like a chocolate pie and like an apple or a lemon meringue, I would choose the fruit ones more than the chocolate one. Yeah, it might be maybe you've been having cakes that have been over iced. Because if you have like just like tons of frosting on a cake, that's obnoxious. You gotta. That's why I kind of prefer like homemade cake better than like store-bought cakes. Like store-bought cake, they'll just really lay on the icing a lot, the frosting. Whereas if you do it at home, you can put on as much as you want. None at all, if you feel like it. Also, thoughts on ice cream cake? Like, I like it okay. I kind of prefer ice cream in other ways than in a cake. Some people really like ice cream cake. Oh yeah, the 2-layer cake has the icing in it. So you gotta put icing in the middle, otherwise the pieces won't stick together. It's just like, I wish I had some cake. Yeah, ice cream cakes are interesting. They're basically like, they have cake, but then they have like ice cream on the inside. So, I don't remember how much frosting they have on them though. Yeah, you can always get yourself an ice cream cake. She scratch. Ooh, that's a big birthday. Well, the ice cream cake does have a shorter shelf life than a regular cake. It might start to melt. You really gotta, if you have an ice cream cake, you gotta kind of eat it. Not as quickly as you would just regular ice cream, but still, don't wait too long. I should do something for my 40th birthday. Something big, but I don't know what. I got a year to figure it out, I guess. Oh, that's not too bad. That's like a decent amount of money. Guess it depends on what kind of theater you're renting out. I'm sure here it's probably a lot more. Apparently lizards will do this scratchy thing sometimes. Like, there's occasionally times where I'll see Alfie's scratch herself with her back leg, and when she does it, like, it's not like how a dog or a cat will, you know, scratch themselves. It's like really fast, pew! Like once with the foot, and that's it. Probably because she should not do it sustained, because she has very sharp claws. So it's very, very funny when I catch her, like, just doing one scratch on the head. Big scratches. I haven't had an ice cream cake in a while either. I had them a long time ago. Well, another thing I haven't had in a while is a float. I wouldn't mind having a float again, although I don't know if I want to have one in root beer or not. Like, I know that generally root beer is supposed to be best, especially for vanilla ice cream. But I don't know, it might be nice to try a float with like Coke or something. See how that goes. Alright, I need to... Your tail's curled in front, I gotta erase that. She scratch. Oh, orange soda would probably be good with the float. Yeah, probably be better with a float than by itself, honestly. At least most American orange soda, I'm like, it's okay, not great. I think they're making it a little bit too sweet in the U.S. No, this is not Lavender Town. This is, maybe it is, I don't know. It's a remix, but mostly waterfall. This is my Undertale Eldritchrune playlist, so that's what the songs are for. She scratch. Okay. Back to Chris. Man, we gotta get through these pages already. Still so much left to do. Yep, sometimes you just gotta give yourself a good scratch. And Chris is like, Susie should have mentioned that. Susie's like, I don't care. I'm a big monster. I can do what I want. I can do what I want. Chris's hair is getting longer and longer the longer they're down here because there's nowhere to cut their hair. Unless you do the whole Mulan sword cut thing. Which always at least looks badass. Not a very good haircut though. Appreciated in Steven Universe, the episode where Stevani's like stuck on an alien planet for a while and has them shaving. Okay. You know, you wanted to get into comics and storyboarding? I started doing it when I was like 5 years old. Well, what I wanted to do originally when I was a little kid was animation. Like, you know, I wanted to be a Disney animator. That was the cool things back then. That was when the Disney Renaissance was going on. We were getting stuff like Aladdin and Lion King and Beauty and the Beast and all those cool things. So when I was a little kid, I wanted to do animation. But as I got older and as animation went more 3D, and I realized that I tried to learn 3D, and I did kind of learn some 3D stuff. I've forgotten a lot of it, but I learned a lot of it. But I realized I want to draw. That's the thing I really enjoy doing. So I decided, okay, I'll focus instead on boards if I'm able. It's because that is sequential storytelling, and I like doing that. Like feeling, I don't know, like yeah, just like that's what I want to do. I have to do that. I was in a rare position. I don't think most people do this. When I was like in I was like I don't know 4 or 5 at the time. Sorry, I need some more water. My throat's been a little dry today. I drank too much coffee or something. I was like 4 or 5. And we were going to an art museum in Boston, I think. and I remember just staring at some painting. It was like a big landscape or something. I don't even remember who the artist was or anything like that. And I was just looking at it, and I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be an artist. Mom was like, okay, honey. And I stuck with that. I stuck with that ever since I was 4 or 5 years old, looking at a painting and said, I'm going to do that. When I'm older, I'm going to do that all the time. And I stuck with it. I didn't stop, really. And thankfully, I also have parents that encouraged me. But yeah, like, I was drawing comics since I was a little kid. I was drawing these whole, like, color sequential stories and all that kind of stuff. Whole series of them. Shoot. Did I put that in BG lines? That's not where that's supposed to be. I'm gonna have to do that later. Like, check this out. I'm gonna do the backdrop stuff flashback later. But like literally when I was like a little kid, like 10 years old or whatever. Yeah, I don't think most people do that. That's kind of unusual. Most people go through a lot of different things on what they want to do. I'm just weird. But like, you know, like age 8, 9, 10 or whatever, I would just like, I had all these little slice of life comics with all these characters I made. And I would literally just pump out hundreds and hundreds of pages of comics. Just non-stop. I don't know. In terms of, if that's what you really want, that's something only you can answer for yourself, I think. But it also, I guess it's a thing of like, are you gonna be doing this anyway? Like, are you doing art because you feel like you should, or like if you were given nothing else to do and you could do whatever you wanted, you would still do art just because you like the process of doing it? Like, if you just enjoy the process of doing it yourself, by itself, and it doesn't really matter whether you get paid or not, then that's probably what you should do, and you should go get paid for it. But if you, like, don't really like doing it, if you just kind of feel obligated to do it, then maybe you should look towards something that you really enjoy doing, because that's what you're spending all your time doing. So that's up to you. Only you can answer that question. But yeah, if this kind of thing were like, even if you were doing nothing else, you're still drawing, and you like doing it just on its own, then yeah, that's probably something you should pursue as work. Because again, if you're going to be doing it anyway, you might as well get paid for it. Although, to be fair, once it becomes a job, it does feel different from when you're doing it for yourself. It becomes very different. But if you're okay with that, then go ahead. If you're worried about it kind of ruining how you feel about making stuff, then there is no shame in keeping it as a hobby and doing something else. Because even if it's work you enjoy doing, it's still work. I'm glad it's my job because I enjoy doing it just as a process. Like, even when I am drawing something I do not care about, which is most of my work, then it's like I still like the process of doing it. So I'm glad that's my job. I mean, it depends on with music what kind of music you're doing. There might be some kind of musics you can do that don't injure your hands as much. Drawing is gonna put your hands in danger too, unfortunately. You really gotta protect that. But whether you're doing music or art, you know, you try and do exercises and stuff to protect your hands, which is what I do. Not that I have to, pretty much. entirely up to you. Like, if you would rather do music, then pursue music, which is also a kind of art, so not even that far off. Whatever you do in regards to either music or art, that's still going to be a strain on your wrist, so you have to take care of that. So, again, do the thing where you're like, I like doing this, I will do it anyway, even if no one's going to make me. And 2, I will do this even if it's not about something I care about. Because that's what doing it for a job is. It's ultimately like, somebody else has asked me to do this for them. So I'm not going to, you know, I don't have that much say over what it looks like. But I like the process enough that I'm going to do it for somebody else to their specifications. I mean, yeah, especially if you're still young and you're not sure yet what you want to do, you can, you know, try both and be like, hey, which one do I like more? Or which one do I feel like I'd be better at for a job more? You got time to work it out. Yeah, no, I understand that. Honestly, I wish I could compose music. I don't have much of a musical ear at all. And I used to be able to read music, but now I've forgotten because I haven't done it in a long time. But I admire people who can make really good music because music to me is inspirational. That's what makes me want to draw things. So, people who can make music, I'm like, you're so cool. How do you do that? How do you make the things that sound good? It is a mystery. God, my throat's dry today. Like, definitely one of the movies that we would put on over and over again when I was growing up was Fantasia, which is pretty much a you know, combination of animation, music, and dance, I guess would probably be the appropriate thing. So my brother and I love that. Yeah, the right music is what makes me want to draw. So, I admire people who can make cool music. That's why when I'm doing roughs usually for work, I have to put on music. I can't put on like stuff with people talking in it because that's too distracting. But music I can put on and that will get me drawing. At least, or thinking about drawing rather. Makes me want to draw. Yeah, that would be cool to be able to make music. I admire people who can do it well. Like even all these like, you know, fan reinterpretations of Undertale songs, I'm like, music art is so cool. Meanwhile, Noelle's over here like, Susie, so cool. She's so cool. Even though her hair is a pain in the butt to draw around. I definitely like it when you know, music and art go together. I feel like that's why it's such a necessary step for, like, you know, good animated series is also combining them with music. Also, why often a lot of animated movies are musicals. They are areas that naturally complement each other, actually, I think. Like, Personally, I think animated musicals often work better than live action musicals. Because musicals in particular are kind of like heightened reality. They're not very realistic. You know, you're kind of operating on fantasy rules. And animation obviously lends itself to that more than live action does. Well, it's entirely up to you. Again, if you want to do it for work, you can. If not, nothing wrong with doing it for a hobby. But if you want to do it for a hobby, make sure you get a job that doesn't eat up your time too much so that you have time for a hobby. Oh yeah, for sure. Fireverse is good in many ways. She's looking at you. Cyclops are kind of surprisingly hard to draw. They kind of go against the natural way you'd probably draw, you know, expressions and stuff like that. We'll make it work. I really hate it when my throat feels like this and I'm always worried, am I getting sick? I can't do that, no! Even though it's probably just the air is pretty dry. As it is right now. Wish I had the air conditioner going. It always still makes me worried. Well, the thing about doing art for other people is that you don't necessarily have to be passionate about the subject. You just have to be passionate about the process. That's all that really matters. Because there's tons of stuff I've drawn for other people where I'm like, I really do not care what it is I'm drawing. But I like the process of drawing itself enough that I'm like, yeah, sure. I will use that process to draw a thing that you want. Yeah, I have the AC on right now. It's been pretty hot. So it's not about whether you care about the subject of what you're drawing. Most of the time, you're probably not going to care about that. You care about the process of it. You like the act of making art itself. If you like that, then you're in luck. But if the process itself you find really difficult, then maybe save it for things you want to actually do with it. Turn off that for a second. Yeah, it's hot here, but not as hot as I think it is in other parts of the world right now. And that's fair, that's fine. Like, some people really do like to do art stuff, not because they, you know, they enjoy the act of it, because they want to put silly ideas on paper. And that's all good. But, yeah, that's the thing with doing it as a job, is that you unfortunately cannot just put silly ideas on paper. You have to interpret somebody else's silly ideas. And put those on paper. So if you like doing that in general, then it's good to do it as a job. That's why I do not get this AI stuff. Like, here, we're going to take out the process of drawing. And I'm like, that's the part I like. Why would you do that? It's like saying, we've invented a robot to eat ice cream for you. Why would I want that? Sounds dumb. I like the thing I'm doing right now where I'm just like moving the line over the page. That's fun. It's good. It's great. I like it. I don't want that part to be gone. Great, his crickets are so loud I can still hear them even when they're in the bathroom. Yeah, the process of drawing is one I've liked and one I've always liked. Which is why I wanted to do it for a job. It really is though. I'm like, why are you making robots that will do the fun parts of life for me? That is the opposite of what I want. Build me a robot that will do the dishes for me. Or clean my apartment. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. We are working on more lines for this comic. 10-page comic, so it's taking a while. Then we'll have to do the colors for it. Even though I'm working with like a really limited palette, it still takes a while. I feel like Chris's hair is becoming more 80s as I go on. Just a big floof. A floof and a poof. It's fun to do a big floof and a poof. Really study more how like clothing folds go. Mostly just a matter of like, I'm just making them up as I go. They look kind of right. I hope. Oh, time for my break. Break time in the sunshine. So, here we go. Now a stretch. And get more water for that matter, because I've been going through it. We're almost done with the lines though, so that's good. Aw, doggos! Oh no, doggos! They were too excited. They're like, oh, the people are everywhere. I do like dogs. And lizards. Actually, I might change Chris's eye position in that picture when I get back, because first my stretch. I need more doggos in my life. Aw, that's so sad. You're gonna have doggos, you gotta be good to them. That's the purpose of it. Okay. I forgot what this song is. Oh, how did I forget what this song is? I'm such a dummy. Alright, I will. Ah, it's too big. I'll be right back for one more stretch and water and all that goodness. Alrighty. Back for more. Here we go. Sweet little doggos. I think my grandma's looking after my parents' dog right now. Uh-oh, wild story. That's a wild story. That's a wild story. I really gotta find a way to get a bot or something so that I can put the oh, that Twitter reband brand is so bad. It's so stupid. We're gonna name our recognizable platform after something that's not Googleable. Good job, Elon. Nice. Very smart of you. Also, now they type in x.com. It's so stupid. Why would you do that? Also, know what's gonna happen now? It's gonna get Norded. The darn website's gonna get Norded by Xehanort. Good friggin' job, Elon. That's not what I wanted. Get out of here. I'm in the middle of drawing. I thought it would go to my other thing. That ain't loading. That's just dead. Is dead. I knew an actual name. Like, yeah, that's just the stupidest thing. That was what they originally were gonna call, like, what PayPal was, and then they were like, no, we can't do that. We're gonna have to call it PayPal. And everybody knows what PayPal is. What the heck does X mean? It's so stupid. He is friggin' Xehanort. Probably wishes he could go back in time and absorb the spirits of young children, too. Gross. Gross! Yeah, that named a poor child that. I wonder the other kid ran away from him. Whatever. Why do we pretend these guys are smart? They're so stupid! Okay. As in exploiting the platform, pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Most people associate X with something, you know, not safe for work. X-Files. That is good. You can view X videos and X images on x.com. There are times when I'm like, he's got to be doing this on purpose. He's got to be trying to kill this thing on purpose. And then do some kind of lawsuit about it. But there's other parts I'm like, no, I think he actually is just that stupid. This is a guy who desperately wants people to like him. And yet fails at every turn to do that. Like, it'd be really pathetic if it was others' livelihoods on the line. Now it's just maddening inducing. Like, people were using that for, like, important things. Or running a business or something like that. Now it's just been hacked away at. I kind of hope that a Blue Sky takes off as the alternative, because I do not want to use threads. But right now it's invite only, so that is not really helpful to people. Like, you need to make that thing, one, make it public, and two, like, something that would be really helpful if they did it, like Dreamwidth did this, was make it so you could transfer your history over. That was what happened between Dreamwidth and LiveJournal when that big debacle happened a while ago. I'm trying to remember the X-Files car chase scenes. What were some good ones? The main one that's coming to mind is like the season 6 episode, like literally called Drive, I think, where the whole premise was like this guy gets like a government thing that messes up his inner brain or ears, and now he has to drive westward at increasing speeds or else his head will explode. So it becomes a car chase where Mulder's the one driving the car, and he's like, you have to keep going westward faster or it's gonna be bad. That was some government experiment. And of course it was back when conspiracies were cool, and then we found out actual conspiracy theorists were awful. And then it sucked. Kid of the founder being X. Can't believe the site's gonna get Norded. Come on. I should probably tweet about that, actually. I'm surprised nobody's made that joke yet. I've seen variations on that joke, but not that joke specifically, so probably somebody's beating me to it. I remember X-Files, though. That was my first big fandom way back in the day. That was even before, like, fanfiction.net. We were just posting our fanfiction on, like, fanfiction sites for it. Honestly, sometimes with all this, like, social media madness, just getting trashed left and right by giant companies that, mess up social media. I'm like, man, go back to the days of, like, mailing lists. Should just start a mailing list or something. Send me all your stuff and I'll send it back to you all in one big email. Once we could get like, oh yeah, it's my fandom email. Here's all my fandoms. In an email thing. I think I was in one of those way back in the day. It was pretty fun. Oh, I don't remember the one from Erlenmeyer Flask. It's been a long, long time since I've watched the show. Or rewatched it, rather. No, they filmed a lot of stuff up here in Vancouver because it was cheap to do so in all these big spooky woods. Well, we were just talking about cars and my inability to draw them. I'm not very good at drawing cars. They're hard. I wonder what kind of budget they had if they had really good car chases for that. Oh, that's pretty cool. Canvas signed by Walt Disney? Neat. How do you even paint on that unless it was already painted on? Oh, thank you so much. And I hope you have a lovely dinner. I'm gonna keep on going myself. At some point, I'm sure I'll grab a muffin in the middle of it if I get hungry. We can keep going for a little longer. Thanks. I'd definitely like to finish all the lines on this anyway. Yes, thank you very much for coming to the stream. I super appreciate it. She's excited. She just can't hide it. And then, yeah, how do they get a canvas signed by Walt Disney? That's a heck of a thing. Okay. Let's see if we can fudge this whole stuff again. Do that line? I don't know. So side version of it somehow. Somehow, some way. She frosty. Stay frosty. She doing it in a hop. In a hoppity hop. Oh, I'm getting my water. Throat's still bleh. I hope it's better by tomorrow. Well, here's appropriate music. Looks like I thought I was on the wrong layer there, and I was like, ah! But it's okay. Special ones in this one. Cyber City. I love this song. It's such a good song. So good. She's dancing to it. Alright, got that. Burbs. Burbs are coming again. Coming to get ya. Antlers definitely make things take longer. If I was a dummy, I was like, let's put complicated antlers on her. This wasn't deadly at all. Damn, better than that way. Honestly, it would be easiest if I could just take a model and rotate it in space. And draw around it, but don't know if I have the time to mess with that. Unfortunately. Again, I've forgotten all my modeling. I can make cubes and that's about it. I made a cube and I pushed it around. I'm modeling. Yay! I guess that's kind of what most modeling is anyway, just making cubes and pushing them around, but my pushing them around skills are to be desired. They're scraggly burbs. We're coming for you! Coming to yell in your ear! Maybe I'll move one of these birds over a little bit. Up here, please. Pleasant tangent. More like that. No tangents, please. Sometimes that happens just when I'm stacking backgrounds and characters together. Tangents will happen, and I'll be like, oh no, I don't like it. It's terrible. Hey, Angry Birds. Yeah, exactly. You might not notice them at first, and you're like, wait a minute. Wait just a gosh darn minute. Ah! Sometimes I don't even notice them until the director's like, hey, there's a tangent there. And I'm like, no! How could I have been so easily defeated? Walk. They got hot takes and they got cold takes. Lukewarm takes, which are the worst kind of takes. Oh, yeah, they'll care about that kind of stuff. Mostly because if you don't catch it right away, that'll carry over into later down the pipeline, and that's not fun. Also, it just can be kind of confusing to look at for, like, the director and others down the line if, you know, it looks like stuff is all moving together on the same plane. Yeah, obviously you want the idea across first, but like that's an easy thing to fix that will make stuff look a lot better. And again, if you're not careful, that can get carried further down the pipeline. So better to catch it early. Right. Yeah, pipeline stuff is pretty crazy. It's amazing anything gets made sometimes, honestly. There's so many moving parts to think about. That's why the production team needs its own union, because they're the ones that are basically keeping the train running. Everybody always forgets about production, and they work super hard. She got herself some chicken bites. Chicken tenders. Black anyway, because that's what the swatchlings are. We'll fill them in. They're small enough. You gotta buy chicken nuggets. You're bothering my new reindeer girlfriend. You get nommed. Oh, who knows? Maybe we'll get Susie Zilla. She'll get to be cool and badass there. Noelle counts. I'm sure she would be totally fine with that. I'm curious what we're going to be doing with Noelle next chapter. This will probably mostly be in Chris's house. We'll see what happens with the rest outside of that. Yes, give us Susie Zola in canon. You showed her on TV. Now's the time for it. Like, literally, if they show the stuff that's on TV, we got, like, you know, a cooking show. We got the weather thing, obviously. We got Susie Zola. Give us Susie Zola. Give it to me. It's like, okay. Whatever. I like this brush, but the problem is once it gets small enough, it's a little rough to use. That. Okay, what's going on? Oh, run into each other. Somebody on Tumblr asked me what I thought of chess theory, so I gotta write up the thought on that. I actually had to go and watch it because I hadn't watched it yet. So I'm like, okay, I guess I should finally watch that. So I did. Big heels on the deer. Let's see. There I go. You're so cool. Nom those annoying birds for me. Just the coolest. Keep up with the water. This isn't like a 10-page thing. This is like an 11-page thing. Well, 10 and a half, kind of. 10 full pages and then a little more. Alright, thanks so much for coming to the stream. I appreciate you being here. Hope you have a good rest of the week. Also, thanks for your help with Earthbound. That was super helpful. I got through the end okay. So, have a good rest of the day if I don't see you again. Whew. I do not like how my throat feels. I really do not want to be getting sick. I do not want that at all. Do not let that happen. It feels bad. And onward we go. Oh, time for my stretches. We're almost done with this too. I hope. Gotta get through these lines today. Alright, stretch time. Here I am. Woo. Yeah, you gotta work early. You gotta make sure you get plenty of rest for that. But yeah, thank you so much for coming to the stream. I'll probably keep going until about like 5, a little after 5 or so. Myself, want to get as much done as I can. But thank you for coming to the stream. Yeah, photo sorting. Gotta do that. Probably something I should do myself, but never seem to get to it. Because it's dumb. Well, dumb on my part, not dumb for the photos. Yeah, thanks a bunch for coming by. I super appreciate it. Okay, stretch. Oh, I gotta post stuff for Patreon too. I remember to do that today. Alright, I will be right back for one more stretch and all that goodness. Back. Oh, yeah. Not touched stuff for a while, that's a problem. I also just realized that, shoot, I need to, like, fill out a form for some bank stuff. I need to do that probably today. I'm gonna do that tonight then. I forgot to do it another day, apparently. Feel kind of dumb about. Hopefully it won't take me too long. I'm gonna fill out this dumb thing. I'm putting it off. It'll probably involve me looking up a bunch of numbers and stuff too. Yeah, I definitely need to like sort through camera stuff. Oosh, there goes a Rouse. I almost forgot about the thing I have to fill out, and I was like, oh no, I remember the thing I have to do that I don't want to do. No. Hello, thank you for coming. My weekend's been pretty decent so far. It's a very typical weekend for me. Usually involves me doing a bunch of chores for Alfie's and cooking for myself. Arch, I can squeeze them in. Like right now. They're having a nice chat. Yes, thank you for coming to the stream. Now that I remember I have to fill out that form, I'm like, I don't wanna. And I said I would do it, so I gotta do it. And that's what being an adult is doing stuff you don't want to do, but you gotta do it anyway. Especially if it involves your finances. And maybe it'll be good to get that kind of stuff taken care of. Yeah. I know I'll feel better once I have them done, but it is a chore. Especially since it's not even like a thing I can, just like put on my headphones and listen to something while I'm doing it kind of chore. It's I gotta think about it and look stuff up kind of chore. It's not a chore you have to think about. Those are the worst. Susie's like, I'm the best. I'm not sure. I'm a monster. Hello. You got the long hair. Ah, these dumb antlers. They get me every single time. Gotta get through them. Going through my water. My throat's still bleh. Okay. I think that's everything for this page. It's about. I'll probably have to keep up with that. I can save it for later. Alright, one more, and then we'll be through the lines on this stuff finally. Oh yeah, I imagine 4K files are going to be pretty big. Even something like YouTube. But that's fun. I only very rarely do YouTube stuff, at least right now. Maybe in the future that'll change. He got teeth. He got teeth. Or something like that. Got scarves of the big. Man. Automatically overlapping my lines a bunch. I do a break, I'm probably gonna have to get myself a muffin to munch on real quick. I'm getting real hungry. I cannot wait until dinner. Right, next panel there. Escaping containment. Hello, thank you for coming. How is the dank world filled with memes? I don't know. This is a dark world, though. Maybe there's less memes in it. Also, if the music's too loud, let me know. I think I might turn it up a bit when I started. But I'm not sure how it's sounding on the other end. Oh yeah, I think that's still pretty popular. That meme is still pretty popular though. Like it was Rousey with a gun, then it was Rousey with a blunt. I wonder what new Rousey with a thing Rousey shouldn't have meme will take hold after the next time we get more game. No, and as we all know, he's driving a Mercedes-Benz. Yes, naturally. What else would he be driving? Okay. Last panel. We'll move on to the very, very fun process of doing fills for the characters, I think. That's true. The longer you wait, the more unhinged you get. Again, I still can't believe that Twitter got Norded. It's gonna get Norded. Ridiculous! I thought there was as much theorizing in Kingdom Hearts as there was in Eldritchrune fandom, though. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nording is just a term. Like, it just makes sense. Whatever's being described, you know, adjective, noun, verb. The website's getting Norded. And it stinks. Nope. this way, maybe? Oh, thank you. I'm glad I was able to, fill the time between chapters. Hopefully this will also help fill some time between the chapters. Just fun things to do. Yeah. Nope. I'm going all over the place. I guess it doesn't matter because this is the bottom of the panel. It was fun to do Paper Trail though. I enjoyed it. I want to do another big project again someday. And the whole game is out. Make sure you know everything. Well, hopefully know everything. Know everything we're supposed to know. Here she goes. Oh, cool. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed them both. Yeah, I definitely like Dogs of Future Past. It's so funny how that one's kind of like, wow, people like this. Okay, I'll keep going. Ah! I mean, it's crazy. People like their media things. But yeah, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed both the comics. And then after Animal Crossing came out, everybody went crazy for what's his name? I didn't mind saying his name, but he was in my village. On my island. I could not remember his name all of a sudden. I feel stupid. Cat. Raymond. That was it. Raymond. Raymond. I have Raymond in my village and I couldn't remember Raymond's name. Yeah, my island. I had Raymond on my island. He just showed up one day in the campsite and I was like, I must get Raymond. I threw everything I could at him to make sure I got Raymond. No? As far as I know, he's still there. I haven't played in a long time. Yeah, people like the Heterochromia. It was so funny though, like, you know, I got, you know, Raymond. I'm like, yay! Finally, Raymond's on my island, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's 8 eggs. Answer that. Not answering that. I got Raymond on my island and then I, you know, he finally finishes unpacking. And I go and visit him in his house. I'm like, Raymond, why do you live in the Stanley Parable? What is going on with your house? It's really decoration. I'm ignoring my phone. It's not anybody. No. Away they go. Can't believe I forgot Raymond's name. Alright. Yay! Yeah, Raymond's default house. Again, I literally walked in. I'm like, Raymond, why are you living in the Stanley Parable? Story. Where is the palette I had? Here we go. I received a voicemail from somebody I don't know. Oh, thank you. Trying to explain the Raymond incidents. Yeah, like I made the joke that like, how have I included Colts and Undertale Deltarune stories twice now? But like the deal of it is, at least, with like Eldritchrune, this is absolutely like a fantasy cult. This is not really it's supposed to be realistic. Whereas the The one in Kara's Origins was meant to be based on, like, more how things actually are. Still pretty fantasy, but, was a bit more realistic than what's happening here, which is extremely fantasy. Alright, I'm just gonna go through and we're gonna do base colors on all this. So the characters are standing out from the backgrounds. I'll have to work out the background colors at some point. I'm not sure what they'll be, but we'll figure it out. I'm guessing this will probably be what we're doing for the colored characters. This one. Chris will be the lightest version. Yeah, people went absolutely nuts for Raymond back in 2020. He was a little bit ridiculous. I wasn't even trying to get him at any point. He just happened to be in my campsite. I'm like, well, I better get him. Everybody loves him. I chose the design and it looks great. It's like, whatever makes you happy there, I guess. I know somebody sent me a thing. I don't care right now. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. I hope you have a good rest of the weekend. Yeah, I've never played a Happy Home, whatever that one was. I played a New Leaf and New Horizons, and that is the only times I have played Animal Crossing. Didn't play the older ones either. Standard background for the background colors. Ah, too much. Too much. Too little. Just right. Put down base. All about that base. That is kind of funny. I do think the one problem with New Horizons is it feels like that the characters run out of stuff to say pretty quickly. You get repetitive lines fairly soon in talking to them, which is too bad. But I was mostly in it for like the collecting. I must get all the bugs, I must get all the fish, I must get all the art, I must get it all. I like to collect the things. Definitely some bugs and fish were definitely hard to collect. Yeah, sometimes the lines are like, huh? But they're a little hard to find. And again, I feel like after you play long enough, especially if you're playing for a whole year, because you gotta, you know, do a whole year to get, if you want to get all the bugs and fish at least. It's starting to get a little repetitive sometimes. That's just how it was. But then again, it's kind of hard to come up with a year's worth of lines. And on the other hand, like, look at something like Hades, and excuse me, that was just tons and tons and tons of lines. Like, I'm like, how am I still getting fresh new story lines? In Hades, there's hardly ever any repetition here. It's crazy. There's so much written for that game. I'm excited for Hades 2. Although for first Hades, I definitely had to turn on God mode eventually, because I'm like, I'm failing, I must turn on the God mode. It still felt challenging enough, so I think that was a good feature. Yeah, sometimes you get some weird lines in there. Jonas Ness's house. Nowadays, if you tried to buy a house like that, literally like that with the wall missing, probably would be like $200,000 instead of $7,500. Not even joking. It's ridiculous. Especially for like oceanside view and all that. Open floor space. Literally. Yeah, that's true. It's extremely silly. You saved the world, want to buy a house? Sucker. Saving the world won't get you a house. Especially if you are still a child. Oh yeah, I'm probably sure there's houses for sale that are just like, oh, this is cheap for a reason. Who sells a house to a 10-year-old? Video game characters, that's who. Sure, 10-year-old, you can have this house. This definitely isn't a tax scam. Money laundering scam or something. Hey, so you'll give me $7,500 for this weird thing? Sure. Why not? Why is her thing so pointy? So pointy. I have to do her antlers a lot here. At least whenever I get to the comic with I was about to say whenever I get to the comic with the sacrifice, I'll be like, no antlers. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, some of the cult members are wearing antlered masks. No, I can't escape the antlers. They haunt me with their pointies. Pointy little pointiness. Guess we'll get as far as we can. Make them less pointy, but they're wearing antlers. Antlers are inherently pointy. They point all over the heckin' place. That's just how antlers are. I make them like baby reindeer antlers, but that's not doable. Now what I'm doing, there will be antlers. Like there will be blood, except it's there will be antlers. Probably blood too, but mostly antlers. I don't know if there's not time for me to stop soon. Do all that business, but I kind of like to finish this first. Yeah, I probably need to stop and do my stretches and grab a muffin to eat so that I have my energies. More water. Oh my goodness. I'll go a little bit more. Actually, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and stop for stretches real quick, because I also gotta grab a muffin. Muffin! And water. Muffin, like the character from Bluey. Not getting along. Whew. First stretching. guess the good queen. I don't know about that, but they are on their way. They're on their way to get through Cyber City. It's all weird moving architecture stuff. Acid. And acidic. The queen's not so nice here. Still very haughty though. Okay. I will be right back for more water and a muffin and a stretch. BRB. About a bit of a break there. I had to go and do all those things. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Mountain Dew either. So I said Mountain Dew either way. I'm like, nah, I don't want that stuff near me. I don't like it. Not that I won't drink it ever, but I'm just like, I do not like Mountain Dew. Or the way it looks, or any of that. So much to get through. So little time. on this page, right? Yeah. It's a smaller page or kind of a half page. Now the fun part, which is big stuff. Yeah, I don't really drink sodas much anymore. Not entirely, but I've almost mostly given up soda. Just a little caffeine thing to hit back on. Let's see. So I used to drink it a lot more often. I was like, probably shouldn't do that as often, so I don't really buy sodas. Mostly have iced tea or water. Those are my two big things I drink most of the time nowadays is water and iced tea. Occasionally also juices or oat milk. Amy. Chris is like, hello, thank you for coming. We've gotten through all of the line work, and now we're on to the bases, which is basically just me putting down a flat thing of color. It'll then be easier for me to go back and color in later, especially against the background. That's another kind of a brainless part of the process, but it's fun. Let's try to get all the pointy bits. Thanks for coming. Not sure when this part will be done. I'm kind of hoping the next 3 weeks or so, depending on what kind of stuff I have going on after I finish cleans for work. Yeah, so then again, I don't know if I'd want to drink actual Mountain Dew, not the soda. It sounds refreshing, but it's also kind of that's been on the ground. Don't know what stepped in it. It's kind of neat, walking out in the morning and be like, oh, dude, that's fun. I haven't been able to do that much myself anymore. I do a little smoky bottom to Ralph's around here. We'll go back over that later with other brushes. Chris is like, oh, the creatures here are so tall. I gotta crane my neck. Sticking to my... I don't like that. It's on my thing. You get a hair on your Cintiq or your tablet, and it's like, no! Who would have thought? Stuff off the body would get on the stuff you use a lot. Oh no, ew. It's gross. Why are tall people doing that to you? Be careful how you talk, tall people. Don't spit. Yeah. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ugh. That's not great. At least then aim somewhere else, because ew. It seems like there should be something you're able to control a bit. I don't know, maybe not. Still. Ugh. 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 I gotta navigate around these stupid antlers again. Look weird once I actually put that against the other backdrops too. It's hard to do that at the time. There's just like a black line right there. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, Chris is gonna get a neck injury from having to look up to all these creatures they talk to because they're large. They're so large. Very large. And Noelle is the tallest out of the beasts, so she is exceptionally large. Not the longest, but she is the tallest. And that muffin to kick in and give me energies. Yeah. Noelle's is covered in pointy stuff. She has the icicles hanging off her underside. She has the antlers. She has the hooves. She has nothing but pointies. Somehow even Susie is less pointy than her. How did that happen? How did this happen to me? Cool side of the pillow. Yep. So many pointies. It's like I'm going to avoid sleeping on the side that has all the icicles on it. That gets a little less sun, so it gets icy cold. So how does Pokemon Sleep work? I kind of seen it in passing. I play Pokemon Go all the time. That gets me to go outside, but how does Pokemon Sleep work? You'll play Pokemon all the time. When you go. When you sleep. When you go to sleep. Do you just like turn it on when you're sleeping and it monitors you or whatever? They did a little Pokemon Sleep event in Pokemon Go, ironically enough. Like, you can catch Snorlax and stuff like that. Some Pokemon just want a nap. Navigate around all these pointy bits. Yeah, I'm curious how that's supposed to work. Man, I just ate a muffin. Now I want another muffin already. I'm just ready for muffins. Still got leftover cake, too. Gotta finish that off if I can. Huh, I see. Muffins are good. It was a birthday cake, and I made it so it's lemon with chocolate frosting. Although at this point it's a week old, so it's just barely hanging in there. I gotta finish it off or dump the rest, I think. Almost the end of the lifespan of cake. I get 2 things of a Scarlet Force in a row? Crazy. Alright, I guess I probably should do fills on the burbs too. Even though they're nothing but pointies. Everybody's pointy in this world. It's a little annoying. It's the same song, actually. But yeah, the swatchlings are gonna be black with color spots on them later. Yeah, too bad most animals can't eat chocolate. Alphys definitely cannot have chocolate. She cannot have cake. Pokemon's like, you will be healthy by collecting animals. You will do it. But no, Pokemon Go actually does get me to go outside and walk around, so accomplish that at least. Because I like doing all the events and collecting the mons and stuff. That's how it works. Well, I really don't like some of the choices they made for Pokemon Go to like make it harder to do raids from remotely, because I think that was a really useful feature that the pandemic introduced, and they walked it back. I'm like, no, that was good though. I did more raids when I did that. Yeah, I wish hatching eggs wasn't so expensive. You gotta pay for all the egg incubators, and then I also gotta pay for getting remote raid passes. So if somebody in like another country invites me to a raid, I can actually go. Even that's assuming you can win. Just a weird, angry burb. With a single foot. Don't forget about me, I'm back here too. Huh. No, I've been able to do the routes now. You have to like go to where it starts and then click on the route in the like menu and be like start route, and it'll show that you are following it with like a blue line or something like that. Like you have to actually tell the game that you're starting the route and not just be on it. And then it'll be like, okay, I'm following you, following the route. So I've done it twice so far. There's the only one that's registered that's like near my apartment. I'm kind of hoping others will pop up because I'm like right next to a major park. I should be able to find some other routes. Maybe they're deeper in the park than where I am in terms of a starting point. Maybe once I actually go back to my usual park spot, I'll be able to find another one and I can get to that. I imagine there's got to be some that are like close to the lakes or something like that. Walk around there. There's a ton of spots that are on the park. Heck, if I could, I would make my own route. That's the route I usually go in the mornings. That would be useful. Well, were you able to submit it, and was it like approved? Because you have to like you can't just do whatever ones, like you have to submit it and get it approved as a route. So like, did you get it approved by the game? Like, there's apparently a process for it. It's not everybody can do it yet. Huh, okay. I don't know then. I want to double check on that. So it seems like right now they just rolled it out for a few people. Not everybody has that ability yet. And I certainly would like to make my own. That would be useful for the way I usually go. But I haven't tried that yet. I just tried one that already popped up nearby where I was. For that, you pretty much have to go to where it starts, say you're starting it, and then start on it. I haven't found a Zygarde cell yet, though. I was looking for it, and I just didn't see it. It was a little bummer. Just have to try again. You have to do a route like 3 times. You have to do that 3 times at some point anyway. At least for the point I am in the Zygarde research. I'm like, where are the cells? Give me the little Zygarde cells. Even though I do like the 10% Zygarde. Little greyhound. It's cute. Yeah, but too small. Too small. Yeah, I like Zygarde. Zygarde's neat. Yeah. Again, if there's one that's already like in operation, just go to where it starts. You know, click on it in the menu, so tell it that you're starting the route, and then walk it. Pretty much. I've only found one route so far. At least there's one that's popped up near my apartment, and I've done it twice so far. But I'm wondering if any others will pop up when I go try the park again, like I usually go to the park. Maybe one will be close to what I do. Oh, nice. I don't know how many have been made though. I don't know, cars are hard to draw. They're hard to draw because they're like hands. Everybody knows what they look like. So if you're getting them wrong, then like it's easy to tell. And they got very, you know, streamlined, smooth shapes. So you got to have all this line confidence in them. That's honestly why when I have to draw cars or vehicles, I just trace them. I look them up and find the angle I want and trace them because I know I'll get them right if I do that. Henry Ford, no! And he probably hated unions, that's what he hated. Honestly, old cars like Model Ts are easier to draw than modern cars, where you have, again, very streamlined curves and stuff like that. Also proportion-wise, I find them difficult to tackle proportion-wise. I feel like you really have to like study cars specifically in order to be good at drawing cars. They are tricky. Yeah, that's like any kind of vehicle for me. Same with like specific weapons that, you know, we already know what they look like. Especially for people that are like, you know, familiar with them. They're like, no, you got the car wrong. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, honestly, I feel like, now people will say that it's like, oh, it's cheating or whatever to trace cars or, you know, vehicles or whatever, but it's like, okay, unless you're actually designing a new car, and you know you want to make a car that's distinct from other cars, then who cares? You just want to make the car look good, and people already know what the car looks like. You can find models of the car online. The car will not change shape like a human or animal will when it moves. It's always going to have the same body. Especially if you're on like a production thing, just like, you know, save yourself some trouble. Heck, even when I'm storyboarding, sometimes I'm like, okay, this prop has already been built. It's already in the position I want it to. I'm just gonna, you know, plop that right in there. That's the exact prop you need. Yeah. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Robots in disguise. So making our way through these guys. How do those artists work on the movie Cars? Very simplified designs, I think. And also once you draw something a lot of times, gets easier. But like, you look at like the storyboard and stuff for the cars, they're just like slightly curved boxes often, with little wheels, which is not that hard to draw. It's if you have to like draw the details on it, that's when things start to get tricky. And if you're boarding, you don't really need to worry about that. You just, you know, doing more shorthand. Yes, so a lot of them are slightly curved boxes with a, you know, little wheels on the bottom. Just for that, like, you know, they're focusing on the eyes and the mouths of the cars, which does not adhere to what cars actually look like. At least I hope not. I still can't get over that one stupid joke they made in Cars 2 that freaked me out. Oh yeah, like literally if you're trying to like do something specific like the Jurassic Park Jeep or something, just trace it. I'm sorry. People are like, oh, you can't trace it. It's like, it's a thing that it already exists. You're not adding, unless you're like drastically changing it in some way, just trace it. Save yourself the headache. Honestly, the hardest part about tracing stuff is like a car is you got to find the right angle, and oftentimes like just a Google search is like, okay, that's not exactly the angle I need, but it's kind of close, so okay. That's where it'd be really useful to like have a library of like Blender models of cars or something like that, like specific cars, specific boats and whatever, so I can just plop it in a Blender, you know, tumble it whatever direction angle I want it to, screenshot that, trace it, and ta-da! I have my thing. I'm sure there's gotta be some kind of resource like that somewhere, I'm just not sure where. Also, I'm not sure how much people would care about the accuracy just making Blender models, but somebody's probably got it. What way you can get the camera right. Oh, it's time for my break already. We're going along. Alright, I'm gonna stretch. I'm gonna get one more muffin because I'm still hungry and I want more muffins and I can get one more. Alright, let's stretch. Stretch. While they walk along, looking all cute. Oh, I'll tell you the joke when I get back from eating my muffin and stretching. The joke from Cars 2, which drove me nuts. Ah! It haunts me to this day. Yeah, I gotta stretch first and I'll eat my muffin. And come back for more of this. More pointy antlers. Stretchy, stretchy. Alright, I'll be back for one more stretch. And a muffin. Alrighty, I am returning. Nom nom nom. No, my muffin. Oh, sorry about that. Get some water. They're good muffins, Brent. They're good muffins. But, the joke in Cars 2 that freaked me out. So, you know, the cars in Cars 2. They got their eyeballs in the windshields. You know, their mouths down below them. That's how they see stuff. And there's like one point where I think Mater or whatever is going through some, you know, town in Italy. It's part of their little world tour thing they're doing. Or, I don't know, somewhere in Europe. And Mater's wandering down a... Or maybe it's not Mater. It's one of the cars. Wandering down a street by himself. And he sees this car sitting in a back alley. And kind of, you know, shaded. And it looks kind of dead. Like there's no sign of life in its windshield where the eyeball should be. And so Mater or whatever is like, comes closer, and all of a sudden the car springs to life, and it has its eyes and its headlights instead of the windshield, and is like trying to sell him headlight eyes. And then he freaks out and runs away, and I'm like, what is going on here? Why is there car body horror? This is like suddenly just like, I know the joke is like they're making fun of the I don't know, those gas station cars that, you know, also use talking cars to sell gas or whatever. I don't remember. I think it was Chevron. Those Chevron cars that were like, we're talking cars, but our headlights are in our eyes are in our headlights or whatever. And people would say that's like the same cars from Pixar. Whatever. I'm sure that's what it was referencing. But in the context of the movie itself, I'm like, this is literally body horror. You're just suddenly stumbling across this person who, as far as they can tell, their eyes have been gouged out and put in their ears or something. And they're just talking to you this way. Why? What is happening here? That is horrific. Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. And there's also a part where it's like a car gets crushed into a cube, and it's like, okay, to the cars. Imagine you see a human being getting crushed into a cube. Would that not horrify the hell out of you? Like, there's just some really dark and freaky stuff in the Cars franchise, which, you know, in the first movie, you know, they don't really get into because they don't need to. It's just like, oh, it's about, you know, this city boy who learns to, you know, respect slowing down and is getting along in the country and blah, blah, blah. That's fine. As soon as you start to, like, get into the world building of Cars, it's like, wait a minute, this is really freaky. Enjoying my car body horror. Yeah, I can't even tell what the headlights are supposed to be for the Cars in terms of anatomy match, because, like, they use them as headlights to see. So, just, it's so weird. Why is there a car pope? Does this mean there was a car Jesus? Is there car Catholicism? Was there a car Inquisition? Were there car missionaries? You can't do this to us! Their brain is inside. Why? Don't answer these questions. Don't have them come up at all. These questions are not allowed. I decided they're not allowed. They're horrible, horrible questions. Horrible. There can only be horrible answers. Also, I thought the thing was like their engine was like their brain. Not the insides. Like, I know there was like a cut scene where, like, Lightning McQueen or whatever has a nightmare that his engine is basically transferred into, like, Big Bessie's body or whatever, the big paving truck. And then, like, Mater drives off with his body, implying there's, like, a brain switch happening, that, like, their brains are basically in their engines or something like that. And then they cut that, which was good. They should not have had that. That would have been weird. But, like, where's their brains then? Is the brain the engine, or is it somewhere else? I don't know. I don't want to know. Okay. Back to this. Yeah, Cars was a movie that did not need more to it. Okay, I can buy that for the Among Us crewmates. They just have one singular bone. Otherwise, they're just squishy. Maybe they were in space too long, and all their bones got reduced by being in space. So now they're just squishy with one bone. Like Wall-E. Wall-E was good. That was a good movie. I appreciate the fact that basically the first 30 minutes of the movie there's no talking. It's just visual storytelling. Please let more movies just be visual storytelling. Let this happen. I never quite finished watching Incredibles 2 either. Like, I started and then I think I fell asleep before I got to the end or something. I got distracted. Oh yeah, I cried really hard at the opening of Up. Ah, yeah. Primal's so good. Perfect example of no dialogue kind of stories. Just the visual storytelling. Perfect example. Seriously, the zombie episode, that is like genuinely really freaky. That's one of the scariest zombie stories I've ever seen. Genuinely really frightening. I really I watched the zombie one, like, okay, here we go. I kind of heard about this one and I was like, oh, this is really scary. Ah! Ah! And no dialogue, just imagery. And it was one of the scariest zombie stories I've ever seen. Hello, thank you for coming. Ooh, Smash Ultimate. Thank you. We're still working on this Eldritchrune comic. I've got the lines done, so now I'm going through and putting down the base color so that I can color on top of that with the power of clipping masks. My favorite. Ooh, I'll have to see that. I know they should be working on Primal Season 2 as well. So I gotta check that out and see where that goes. Oh, with the zombie story in Primal? Yeah, it's a sense of dread, I think. I think just like... Oh, that is interesting. I hope it's a funny one. Dog wants to have pups. It's not what I would have expected from Jatrovsky for that, but I don't know. He pulled off a lot of really good things, so you can probably pull off that too. Thank you. I'm excited for them to be done too. I don't know when they're going to be done. Still got a ways to go. I've just been really busy with work lately. It's been taking up a lot of my time, so I haven't had as much time to work on this as I would like. But I'm hoping this will be done within the next 3 weeks if I'm lucky and don't have much to do during a slowdown week in between episodes. So that would be my time to finish this. And then I want to get to the other one with the sacrifice. Which, that's still a ways off too. At least I have the script for that. But still a ways off. This is like a 10.5 page comic, so it's a longer one. Hopefully we'll be getting this done. Yeah, just sometimes life gets in the way. Gosh darn, life get in the way. Especially work. If I can't overwork my wrist, it's gonna be bad if I do. It's gonna be bad. Nope, don't want to do that. Nice. Chris is here looking all mysterious. Mysteriously mysterious. Yeah, it's fun to try new outfits on characters. Chance to get creative. I'm not very good with costume design though, so I like doing it. I like people like do cool costumes, and I'm like, oh, I wish I was better at that. I always feel like costume design is one of my weaker spots. Monster design's fun, but costumes, I'm like, this probably requires more research. Which, to be fair, a lot of drawing stuff does. Man, sometimes I wish I could just take like a sabbatical and focus on studying again, but that is hard to do. Ah, sheesh. People can like be on their phone for reasons other than, you know, talking to a romantic partner. Also, it's not your business what people are doing on other people's phones. Weird. Weird. Why are people like that? And I bet, mind your business. Maybe you try doing that. Definitely not going through life wondering what people are doing on their phones. I'm too busy playing Pokemon Go on mine. I don't know. What else would you be doing? It's like, you know, there's also, you know, I could be talking to a friend, be looking at something funny. There's a lot more things in life than just romantic partner. Sure, that's possible. It's not the only thing. If somebody tells you that's not what's going on, that's probably when you believe it. I would hope, anyway. Oh, yeah, I think I might have gotten the notice, but haven't looked yet. Yeah, it's just kind of expected. I mean, it's not surprising. Romance is a really big part of most people's lives. Kind of awkward to have it in kids' media as much as it is, but, you know, this stuff isn't written by kids. It's written by adults, so that is, of course, going to show up a bunch. I think it does kind of put some tough expectations on kids sometimes. Yeah, mostly comic books. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not thinking about that. The nice thing about this world is that there are a lot of things to think about in it. Some good, some bad. I'm sure it will be good. Heck, I'm doing some romance here. Romance between two horrible nightmare eldritch beasts. The best kind of romance. Best kind of gay romance. You're like, oh, look at her. She's so big. She got so many teeth. The perfect woman. Right here. Anyone will tell you so. Okay. Now, a spooky one. Emphasizing the fact that Noelle is large. Super large. Yeah, it's useful once you realize, oh wait, this is how I am. It's not just me. There's a word for it. That is extremely useful. About this panel? You know, they're just kind of negotiating. Basically, Chris is like, want to come with me? And Noelle's like, well, how about this, this, and this? New commands, but they gotta do a little more than that. That freaky Kubrick angle, I guess. No wrong way to be ace, that's what I say. Maybe it's temporary, maybe it's not. Human beings are complex. Chris was remembering some stuff. Yeah, I don't really like that though. It's so frustrating that, like, you shouldn't be having kids because you're creating somebody to look after you when you're old. Like, they are going to be people too with their own lives. And while you often do that because you feel like a responsibility for that, that shouldn't be your reason for having kids, so. You gotta have other resources for it though. Yeah, Chris is a little oh crap, they're mostly just kind of surprised since, Noelle mentioned somebody they know by name, and is like, how do you know that? How do you know this person that I happen to know? It's a little weird. But they're gonna do it anyway. And yeah, I know there's groups where you can find aromantic partners. I haven't looked into it myself. It is cool that that exists. I think it's more like when you're older, your kids are usually expected to look after you. If you don't have kids, then it makes it a little tougher. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming. Lurking is all good. So we are slowly yet surely chugging through all these pages. We just have to do this, and we mostly just have to do shading and stuff. Well, we gotta do background shading too, so both of those, and then the effects, and the text, and all that stuff. So, no ways to go yet. No ways to go. I got spoiled because the last comic was like 4 pages long, this one's 10 and a half. So this one is not as fast. Yeah, no, it's definitely nice when you have your own space with decent stuff within walking distance. That makes a huge difference. All that. More freakiness. Speaking of, I should really visit the library sometime. I know there's one nearby. I just haven't gone yet. Grab all those. Aww. I'm sure other groups have variation of relationships, like I'm sure I talk to buyer, pan people, and all kinds of stuff. Okie dokie. Yay, this page is done. I like Noelle's freaky teeth. Freaky teeths. Get rid of the character roughs, and we'll start working on this. Yeah. At least we're making pretty decent progress on these. Yeah, I should go to the library. Although I am in Canada, I don't think they spend as much on guns as they do in the States. Sure, they spend some, but not as much. So, I'm glad for that, at least. Chris is like, you're large. Lots of different ways to love. You can be a giant eldritch abomination and be in love. These little dooblies. Over there. Get in your face with my creepy eye. Chris is like, I will remain unbothered. Just do not eat me. That was unpleasant. That's nice. Yeah, I'm sure they can appreciate volunteers there too. I'm down with that Crizel. Cruziel. I don't know. I like me Suzel, but Chris should be included too, in the weirdest way possible, because then it's fun. Big ol' eyeballs. Chris is there for the snacks. This is Susie, for that matter. Everybody be here for the snacks. And I'll fill on these dang antlers. Once again, the antlers, my nemesis. Antlers, the new ball pit. Now you're tired of drawing plastic balls over and over? Well, try drawing pointy snowflake antlers over and over. See how you like that. Oh, somebody's cooking fish next door. I can suddenly smell it. Like, whoo, whoa. I smell a smell. It's a strong smell. Something, maybe they're cooking it outdoors. I don't know, but I suddenly smell a fishy cooking smell. And again, I'm sure they can smell when I cook fish, so I can't complain. Fish is tasty. I do like me some fish. I need to learn how to make that one salmon dish that my parents used to make all the time. It was a pistachio crusted salmon. My main issue with that is probably so much prep time, and I don't like cooking is the problem. I just don't enjoy the process of cooking, so I try and make things that don't take a long time to make. Excuse me. Exactly. Susie's like, screw your relationship norms. I do what I want. Both Noelle and Chris are like, awesome. So, ideal situation is Suzelle, and also Chris is there in the weirdest way possible. Yeah, I just had a little cough. Just a little bland. Chris is the weird one, as they should be. I don't think it's my time to stretch yet, but it says it is. I'll go a little bit more before I stop to stretch. Adland! Welcome to Adland. Home of the ads. Okay. Yeah, I'll try and go like 5 minutes or so now. Stop the stretch. I'll probably do one more session after this one. So I've gotta stop and do a bunch of stuff, unfortunately. I gotta get it done. Which will be annoying. I'll get it done. Bank thing I have to fill out. Bank things, ah. Okay, yeah, we'll stop in about 5 minutes. Still going on. Wow, why must you be so pointy? Pointiest of the Eldritch beasts. They're taken down low. Big hoof. Biggest of the hoofs. No, not more antler. Ah! How could I do this to me? well, this will make it go a lot faster in the future. Ooh, furry Ren Fair. That sounds fun. Hopefully it's not too hot. See, the problem with the fursuit is going to be hot outdoors. Yeah, if you're cooking for a long time, it gets kind of tiring. It's a lot of work to cook, like a ton of stuff. And that's why I try and keep it as short as necessary. Well, be careful if it's a thing that requires a signature, you know. Be careful. You don't want to get yourself into a dangerous situation if that's the reason the signature is needed. Sounds like it would be fun, though. I've still debated getting a fursuit sometime with my personas. I'm like, that could be really fun. But that'd be very expensive. And there's a bunch of other things I want to buy, too. Yeah. Look at that. So many things to save up for. Need more months. Oh, okay. Well, if that's the thing, okay, 16 plus. But I say if it's 18 plus, you might want to be careful because that could be some stuff that causes a legal problem. If you're in that kind of space and like they're expecting everybody there to be 18 plus, like if there's a sexual thing going on or anything like that, then like don't put yourself in that situation. Like they have those rules in place for a reason because there's a legal issue there and they don't want to get in trouble. So, but 16 plus sounds like it's just mature content, perhaps? I don't know. I guess I need more context. Just if you're gonna do that, make sure that you're not putting either yourself or the people at the con in legal trouble. That is my own stipulation. Because otherwise, like, those things are there for a reason. Because, especially nowadays, with all them laws getting passed about this kind of stuff, very frustrating. You don't want to cause a legal headache for somebody down the road who's just trying to have a good time. Gotta use good judgment. All that stuff. Gotta be careful. Oh, so kids under 16 can go, they need to go with a parent. Okay, it sounds more like it's an all ages thing then. Because, yeah, I'm sure with that kind of thing, they just like, okay, this is the kind of thing where you could have kids, but it could also potentially have an issue, so you gotta cover your bases. But if it sounds like it's something that kids are allowed to go to, then it sounds more all ages than I would think, so. That's my assumption. Again, I don't know any details, so. What do I know? I'm just talking. Yeah, it would be cool to get a fursuit sometime, but I think it's probably lowest on my priority list of big expensive things I should get. That'll be a nice little pipe dream if I happen to have a ton of money laying around. I still think she looks the weirdest here with her eye like half closed. Weird. Yeah. Like, I've tried to try and explain that to my parents sometimes, and they're just kind of like, oh, okay, that's interesting, weird. You know, I don't try and go into any details. I don't think they get it. I mean, they don't get a lot of geeky stuff anyway. I mean, they like, mainstream geeky stuff, like, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and all that kind of stuff. Marvel movies. So, it's not like they totally don't understand geeky stuff, but, you get into the weeds of, like, internet subcultures where it gets weird. And parents are like, I don't get it. What does this mean? I'm like, Well, it's a weird internet subculture. That's how they go. That's just how it be. Oh no, your tail's doing a flippity flip, Susie. It's doing a floppity. Which is fun to draw. Pain to do base colors for them. Oh yeah, sounds like if you do, like, especially if you're doing like work in a fursuit or a mascot suit, you gotta take a break often. Although, don't they, I imagine, like, don't a lot of fursuits nowadays have like a coolant system built in? They probably do that in Disney, in like Disney mascot parks too, or Disney mascot characters. Just as like a safety thing, right? Like you have little like coolant or fans up built on the inside. Seems like you need something, otherwise it's gonna get really hot and sweaty, especially in poor weather for it. A furry made cooling vest the US military bought. Of course they did. Engineering. But yeah, honestly, like, if people ask what a furry is, and to say people who like anthropomorphic characters like Zootopia, like, that's probably the most accurate description you can give anyway. You don't have to go into all the places where the subculture gets weird. That's like the broad strokes of it. It's like people who like anthropomorphic animals. There you go. That covers a broad range of things. Oh, they do add weight. Makes sense. I guess it's a matter of if you want to do cooling versus weight kind of thing. Oh, man, probably have to figure out how to carry around all this extra. It's like wearing a big uniform, like a fireman uniform. I'd imagine. I had who was a great uncle who I realized I forgot to do my stretch, so I better do that now. I was gonna do it 5 minutes ago. Okay, we're stopping for the stretch. I'm sorry it's not in the middle of ads like I usually do. I'm like, wait a minute, I've just been talking. I gotta do my stretch. And we'll do one more session after I'm done with this stretch, and then we'll be done. But yeah, like, I had a great uncle or somebody who was a firefighter, and one time he, brought his, gear for us kids, like, the jacket, and, the vest and whatever, all this gear you have to put on in order to run and fight fires, and that stuff was so heavy. Holy cow. I was like, how do you go anywhere in this? It's like 30 pounds of clothing. It's crazy. You just have to, like, run with that on, run up and down stairs. It's nuts. Oh, Stitch feels like it would be a really hot costume, though. That's kind of a big, bulky one. Maybe there's space in it. I don't know. But yeah, I do know they have like a tunnel system. Basically, any kind of like spots where you can back out basically of interacting with guests and kind of escape. Yeah, firefighting jackets are so heavy. I don't remember what they make those out of, but they're ridiculously heavy. There's got to be something in there that's like, flame retardant material to help keep you safe. But they're so heavy. Yeah, I know Disney is awful about how they treat their employees. I know this, not from directly, but from like one degree of separation directly, knowing people that have worked at the parks and knowing how they're treated. I know they're treated badly. They definitely deserve more money. But they do have those tunnels that, if you're in a dangerous situation, at least if you're like a mascot character or something, you can get out of that situation. Because if it's a dangerous situation, then liability comes up. Ugh, that sucks. But yeah, I think that's usually why like the character meet and greets only last like 30 minutes. You go in for 30 minutes and then you go out for a break. Ooh. Oh, so that was in a parade. Ooh, ouch. Yeah. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. One more. Okie dokie. I return. Hope we're staying in character. Alright, we're gonna do one more half-hour session or so. And then I gotta do some stuff like feed Alfies and feed myself and fill out that bank form I don't want to fill out, but I need to. And a couple other things I gotta do. So that's what will happen. Also, I also gotta answer my inbox on Tumblr, stuff like that. Daniel Tiger. Oh yeah, I love Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. That's what I watched growing up. Alfie's is not that savage. She used to be when she was younger. But, they can be extremely funny. Oh, Katarina Kitty Cat. Oh, that's so sweet. But, yeah, usually, like, if I offer her, like, something she wants, like a little, blueberry or something, she'll kind of carefully observe it and then go, bleh. Out comes the tongue and in it goes. It's so cute. Do not own a Komodo dragon. That's not allowed. They are not pets. They are wild animals. Also, they stink. Like, I mean, most wild animals stink, but like, yeah, they're big old predators. They stink. They're stinky. And also, they will eat you, like, literally. That's why you get a bearded dragon. They're still dragons, but they are friendly. A Komodo dragon is very cool, but it is not a pet. It is a big animal that, you know, is usually going around eating deer and cows, and sometimes you. Yeah, support your local dragon at your zoo. You should not keep one as a pet. They will bite your feet off, and then your legs, and everything else. Because they are, like, apex predators. And they will hunt and eat things. Well, if you love your Komodo dragon, set it free, for it is a wild animal. Not supposed to be a pet. Like, at least even with beardies, they don't really pick them up from the wild anymore. They're pretty much all bred by, you know, beardy breeders. And so they're always designed to be around people and be comfortable around people. Wild animals are not. And yeah, leopard geckos are also very cute. I like their little smiles. A lot of reptiles look like they're all smiling when they look at you. They just kind of have naturally upturned mouths at the corners. That's just how their faces are built. Their faces are built into smiles. Or crested geckos are also supposed to be pretty good. I think the breeder I got Alfies from also would breed crested geckos sometimes. I'm like, how do you have room to have all these animals you breed? It's crazy. Oh, surprise baby gorilla. That's cool. Now I see more gorillas. Gorillas are probably tough to keep in a zoo too because they're so social and they have, you know, big territories. They're smart. I do love seeing Komodo dragons at the zoo. They're very cool. Alrighty. You need to get me to a zoo sometime. I don't think there's a zoo nearby. There's a fish zoo. A cow would be an okay pet, because cows are domesticated. But the problem with a cow is, again, they're social, so you need lots of cows. And two, because they're very large animals, you need all the space for them to wander around and eat grass and stuff. They are like big dogs. But again, they need space too. They need other cows to be around, and they need space. They are herd animals, so they're gonna want to be around other animals. But I know cows are sweet. Cows are tasty too, but they are sweet. An animal can be both sweet and tasty, unfortunately. Susie here is like, I am neither tasty nor sweet, haha. Susie looking at Chris like, to me you are the animal that's tasty and sweet. Welcome back. I don't know if I'd eat a Susie. Think about what she's eating. Ooh. You want all that shampoo and chalk in there? Ooh. Time for more outfits. Susie needs better diet. Or just a Noelle. That too. She can consent. It's fine. Noelle can give her Christmas cookies, like gingerbread. Yeah, might as well. It's like making Eldritch Susie all big and wiggly. She can do the scritches. Oh no, Spiky's on her tail again. Because I drew it this way. I have nobody to blame for this but myself. I saw the first season of Beastars. I didn't see the second season. So I don't know if that, I don't remember that part being in the first season. Maybe it's in the second season. But yeah, I know people have definitely made comparisons between Beastars and Suzelle. Okay, it's also in the manga. I haven't read the manga. I just saw the first season. Finally bite the Chris face. Yeah, I'm sure that Noelle would make specialized cookies. If she could. Well, obviously her first instinct was, oh, I heard Susie eats chocolate. I better get her some chalk to eat. As she thinks about Susie's preferences. Yeah, I enjoyed the first season of Beastars when I watched it. It was pretty good, I thought. Fun characters, interesting world building. I like that chicken that was all excited to make eggs for predators because she's like, yeah, my eggs are gonna be so cool. All the predators are gonna eat my eggs. It'll be awesome. Like that was just kind of a funny bit of world building. Okay. inches. You can always do a mix of masculine and feminine outfits. Outfits compose many things. That's a lot of sidewalk chalk. 160 pieces? Seems like the kind of thing you're supposed to share with your friends and you all get together and do a really big sidewalk mural or something. By yourself, it's gonna take a while. That would be large. Just like Noelle is here. Super large. We're on page 8. Still got another 7 pages to go. Ooh, so much to do. Oh, that's cool. Oh, okay, yeah. If it's to share, then that makes sense. So just like the library. Oh, that's fun. I want a day off to just draw on the sidewalk. That'd be neat. That'd be cool. Give me days off to just go outside and draw on your walls. As long as I get like a little hat and sunscreen. I keep going out without sunscreen and then I come back and I'm like, why is there this itchy rash on my arm? It's like because you're out in the sun without sunscreen, you dink. Dummy. I actually prefer using chalk on something like a sidewalk to something like a chalkboard. Like on a chalkboard it feels kind of scratchy. But on the sidewalk actually I feel like sidewalk chalk feels a lot better. When I was little, my parents would give me and my little brother sidewalk chalk, and sometimes we would just go out to the driveway of our house and draw all over the driveway. The problem with getting, I know some people out here have parasols. The problem is usually when I'm going outside I'm playing Pokemon Go, and I need 2 hands to do that. Well, I don't need 2 hands, but I want 2 hands, so you want to be able to make good throws, and I can't do that one-handed. Like I've been out, you know, walking Pokemon Go and it's raining and I have to have one hand holding the umbrella and one hand holding the phone. And my throws are never as good because I'm doing it one-handed. IKEA bucket hat. That can be true Stanley Parable. Me and Bucket. Together against the world. Forging our own way. It's the power of buckets. Oh yeah, you gotta be careful when you're using chalk on the sidewalk and don't scrub too much. Yeah, that was cool. I got to do sidewalk chalk stuff as a kid. So many cool things you get to do as a kid, and you're not allowed to do them as an adult. Or you're looked at weird if you do them as an adult. I'm like, that sucks though. Sidewalk chalk is cool. It's neat. Yeah, that's true. You do a little fursuit meetup with people meet online and keep up your internet persona. Okay, let's get this one done. Oh no. I forgot Tiny Chris! Look at this. Tiny Chris being like, excuse me. How did I get so small? Yeah, that's what I said. Raymond's house is the Stanley Parable. Raymond, why do you live in the Stanley Parable? Get out of there. Chris is a tiny next to a giant deer. Oh dear, over here. At least we'll get this page done. We'll be on to page 7. We still got all the other ones left to do too. Ah, so much to do. So little time. Mindless work. Take up all my time. Alright, see if we can't get everybody here. I have to squeeze in a bit. She scratched. Yeah, for sure. When you're super duper in character. Honestly, I kind of wish I could do that more myself. Just, I feel like I would have more confidence if I could just, you know, totally go into a character. I feel like it'd be easier for me to be social and speak to people. I'm pretty sure that's why a lot of people do that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know why Cinderella thought that Ben was a mouse. Okay, we've done the shades on that. Let's get to part 7, page 7. This will probably be, we won't be able to get through this page today, but we'll get through as much as we can. And we got more antlers to deal with. Nothing but antlers to deal with. Yeah. I saw some Cinderella / Aqua art the other day, and I'm like, yes, haha. I'm glad this weird crack ship continues on. Probably not something Disney expected, but it's like, come on, dude. Yeah, that was the one thing that Birth by Sleep was really lacking. It was like, there were no NPCs. We're just supposed to pretend they're there. Which I guess because, you know, PSP game, but Aquarella is good. Aquarella based, as they say. That is up to you. Like if you are intending to play it yourself, and you intend to play Ghost Trick yourself, I would say do it before I do it so you can get the experience of it. Because part of it is the experience of it. But if you're not planning on playing it, please do watch me. I mean, they kind of remade BBS for, you know, PlayStation, but, not quite the same. Still no NPCs. Aqua touch in Cinderella's butt. Badland, I know, I'm sorry. I'm still gonna keep going a little bit longer and then I'm gonna stop. At least we got through, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 3.5 pages of this. Still a lot left to go. Yeah, big pile of games. I am in the same way, trying to get through them bit at a time. Yeah, it's up to you. Just know that if you watch me play I guess I should wait till after the ad's done. Excuse me, get out of here, Ad. I got stuff to say. I got stuff to draw. Mostly I got stuff to draw. Mostly I got antlers to draw. Forever antlers to color in and draw. And hair. And spikes. And spiky hair. Hairy spikes. Ew, not that. Oh, that's nice. Nice to finally get through the backlog. That is a plus. Yeah. Add Landover. That's good. But, yeah, if you are intending to, play, Ghost Trick, I would say do that first before watching me, because there is a twist ending where obviously the first time you see it, it's going to spoil you on that. So that's up to you. But it is very, very good. So either play it or watch me play it. I'm good with either one. So I am excited for Ghost Trick. I was listening to the soundtrack recently. I'm like, soundtrack slaps. It's so good. It is a puzzle game, and it's a tricky puzzle game. There are times when like I definitely struggle. And I'm probably gonna struggle again because I forgot how most all the puzzles go. So I've only played it once. And there are times where I'm like, oh, how does this puzzle go? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I didn't really do her back teeth here. Oh well. It's probably okay. Yeah, no ghost tricks, really good. Okay. But yes, please do play it. I'm excited to replay it. It should be a fun time. You'll get to see me struggle through the puzzles too. Because some of them are very timing based and all this other stuff. Weird esoteric ways to solve them. Christmas decorations, aw. Anytime's a good time to play Ghost Trick, though. To be fair. Well, it is kind of also a mystery game, so I worry if you just pop in at different parts, then you'll be confused as to what's going on with the story. You'll be like, what's happening? Who are these people? Kind of things. It's a very well constructed narrative, I think. Because the narrative ties into the puzzle elements very, very clearly. Like, you know, sometimes you have games where it's like, you know, oh, this game is about this, but it's built this way, and they don't really, those two elements are kind of disparate. This is a game where the puzzle elements are, like, are a part of the story, and how the story is supposed to function. Yeah. It's just really excellent. It's really excellently told. Animation's great, music's great, characters are great. Excellent execution all the way through. So again, I'm excited. That'll be Friday, unless something dramatic comes up before then, but hopefully should not. I'm a little worried something might come up with family all of a sudden, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that either way right now. There are so many good things out. That's why I'm like, the studios, they're all like, oh no, if the writers go on strike, you're not going to be getting your media. I'm like, I have like 10 years worth of media to catch up on. It's fine. I'll be fine. I think most people will be fine too, honestly. There's always so much to do. More to see than can ever be seen and all that. I don't have time because I'm also just making stuff like this. The execs underestimate gamer backlogs, exactly. Or just TV show backlogs, movie backlogs, so many. Too many